Hello, fermented folks.
We have P. Jelly Clark.
All Makatsu.
We have Travis Baldry.
Today we have a really special guest, Leopoldo Gout.
Are you reeling it in and defending clowns?
I am. Earth doesn't even exist in Battlestar Galactica.
This show gives me heartburn. I was like, I loves it, I hate it.
It's called All Fluff.
Oh!
If you didn't know how I actually feel about The Mandalorian,
Don't worry,
this is it right here. Hello, fermented folks, and welcome to another episode of Fermented Fiction, the show where we drink together, yell at each other, and debate the best works in the genre fiction realm, whether they be books, whether they be movies, whether they be shows. Today, they do in fact be shows, that show being Fallout Season 2. And we do all that with our tremendous guest today. Our guest is Christopher O'Halloran, our friend from up to the north in Canada, in British Columbia. Christopher, welcome back to the show, my friend. You're coming back to reprise your role, much like the great Goggins, on our Fallout debate. Chris was here last season to debate Fallout Season 1, and he's back. He's back with the gloves back on, and he's going to debate Fallout Season 2 with us. Chris, thanks for being on the show, buddy. How you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm great. It's early. I had a crazy sleep. I got two boys in my bed, two young boys kicking me in the face all night. But regardless, I am up and ready to go.
Hell yeah. We appreciate you being here, man, and stepping away from the role of fatherhood just for a couple hours. I know you'll be right back in the parenthood arena after this. Much like Colin will, he's had a baby since last time you were on, so if you have any advice for him, I'm sure he'd be open to hearing it. Or maybe he doesn't want to hear shit. I don't know. Colin, I don't want to speak for you. Why don't you speak for yourself? We'll start with our personal updates. How you doing, bud?
I'm surviving. I have to be less loud because the baby's sleeping right now.
It's going to be a very tame debate. Colin,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep it this level for the debate.
Just some soothing ASMR.
he's gonna be like a golf announcer instead of a soccer announcer.
It's gonna be like an NPR debate.
Yeah, exactly.
Tiny desk. Welcome to my tiny desk.
There's plenty to like and plenty to not like about Fallout 2, Season 2. Let's get right into it. I am Colin Poynton, and these are my opinions.
Check the market update.
Yeah.
GE is up 1/8 of 1%.
Wow,
okay, let's stay away from that. Let's stay away from that. Chris is from Canada. He didn't come down here to get harassed. Jeremy,
hey,
what's up with you, buddy?
Well, hey. So I've got some show and tell this time because
nice
people who've been watching the show, keeping up with the season. Hey, thanks. But also, they'll know that I went and broke my ankle and tore a ligament and had surgery and stuff. Last Wednesday, I had a second surgery to get some of the stuff out of my leg. This stuff. This plate and these 3 screws.
Damn.
Wow.
And I got to keep them.
Nice.
That's cool.
That's
Nice.
rad.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thanks. I love cool stuff.
Are you going to do anything specific with them? Are you going to frame them? Are you going to put something together with them?
It's you know, I'm still just doing the little kid thing of like, wow, this is cool, and I just took them out of the bag and started playing with them. So, yeah, probably framing or
do they have any sort of smell to them?
No.
Yeah, how much biological component remains?
Smells like disinfectant.
Ah.
I know, it doesn't smell like leg at all.
You can fix that.
You can fix
put
that.
money.
You can fix that.
Jeremy's definitely going to take that everywhere he goes and say, do you want to say this? Do you want to see what's been in me? I guarantee it.
That's a great conversation starter.
I was going to say that was a terrible conversation starter.
Look out.
Unless the conversation you want to have is a greeting and people running away.
Yeah.
Let's see how cool this person really is.
Right.
Yeah.
You should
Maybe
wear
they're
it
part of
around
it, I
your
don't know.
neck like an amulet, like
It's
like
Jeremy's way.
bear teeth
That'd
or
be
something,
sick.
That'd
Yeah.
be pretty cool. Because in a way, it does represent your conquests over the machines. Your own
That's true.
biology grew back, and you no longer need them fuckers inside you. Good
Yeah.
job, Jeremy. Good job.
I'm slightly
We're proud of
less
you.
machine now.
You're slightly less machine, though still
I'm
more
disappointed.
machine than many
Yeah,
of
I
us.
still have 23 screws left and 2 rods if you want to really make me a real boy.
And those are probably not going anywhere. But we're glad they're
That'd
in
be
there.
tough, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a tough one. We're glad they're in there because they keep you upright. They keep you here on the show with us, and we appreciate you, buddy. My personal updates. I have started trying to use this cool totem deck, this tarot totem deck that my lovely wife got me for Christmas. And I found it to be a very fun, inspirational kind of prompt exercise for my writing stuff, for my creative endeavors. I've always been somebody who enjoys writing from a prompt or getting like a little bit of a directional push, because I am a pantser, so it's kind of nice for something to set me in a direction. I don't know how you feel about that kind of thing, Chris, but I don't do any outlining or anything. So sometimes it's nice to just have a little push. And these ones are really fun because every card is represented by an animal. And the author, Lisa Robertson, did a really good job of like combining the message of the tarot cards with like a lesson that we can learn from the animal. So there's like a long page long lesson from each animal, basically, that relates to the tarot that was chosen for it. So I think it's really fun tarot deck. So definitely one, if you're interested in tarot decks and you just like to play around with that kind of stuff, I recommend the Animal Tarot deck from Lisa Robertson. It's really fun. And you learn a lot about animals. I think it's a cool way to combine the two things. And I've always been a person who kind of like looks to animals for guidance and inspiration. So, yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about that kind of stuff.
Tamara's the writer that I know that uses tarot cards and is
Oh,
really
yeah.
good at it.
Yes, Tamara is pretty mystical in a lot of ways. She's definitely got a lot of spiritual beliefs and attachment to her creativity. So, yeah, that is for sure. That is for sure an element of her work.
Is there one that stands out to you so far?
I mean, I am always a sucker for the Fool. That is my favorite card in the tarot deck. And the Fool in this one is a grasshopper, which is kind of funny. Yeah, kind of a little grasshopper. I'd have to pull him out to get his exact message. I don't remember what it is, but the High Priestess is also a Black Widow, which is a pretty sick looking card. You can actually see that one right there.
Ooh,
But that's what they look like.
Ooh,
very nice.
They're pretty fun.
sick.
Where's that one? I see an alpaca.
There's an alpaca too. Yeah, there he is.
Alpaca.
I think that's the
not a
Page
fool.
of Pentacles.
What's that one? The death card is the alpaca.
Yeah, the
Yes,
death card is the
nature's
alpaca. That would
greatest warrior.
be- Yes, the death card is the California condor in this deck. It's also pretty sick. But yeah, I just did a type of reading the other day. My wife and I both did one, and it was really fun with this deck. It is called a totem reading. So you draw 8 cards. Each card represents a different like layer of where you're at in your life right now. And it was a lot of fun. But it was crazy because you only use the major arcana for that. There's 22 of them, and my wife and I did it right after each other, and we each drew all different cards, which is pretty statistically unlikely. Because, yeah, there's only 22. We drew 16 of them. But, yeah, only had one card overlap, and that was the Emperor card, which is a silverback gorilla in this deck. But hers was like her soil, so like the base of her totem, and mine was like in the middle somewhere. But, yeah, it was interesting. Lots of fun. Tarot's cool. It's a good time. I enjoy it. That's my personal update. Chris?
Yo,
What's up with you, buddy? What you been up to since last you were on the show? How's Pushing Daisy doing? Congrats to the Seahawks on winning the Super Bowl.
yeah, I had a book come out and it's doing well, but more importantly, my team won the Super Bowl. And they
So
did
much
it
more
Yeah,
important.
baby.
so much more
Yeah,
important.
baby.
Yeah, that's
uh, you know, they were the best team in the league this year, and that was kind of up in the air. And I think some Rams fans would still consider it a little up in the air, but I don't know if you want to talk to that. But yeah, it's been good. There's been a lot of pestilence in this house. Halfway through the Super Bowl, my youngest son threw up on me. So
Oh no.
good.
yeah, that was the beginning of the end for us. So we're just bouncing back from the sickness, and other than that, just been working and writing. I got a new book coming up soon. That should be going out to prospective publishers, and
Nice.
just really got my nose to the grindstone.
Yeah, are you agented, or do you primarily go around to indie publishers, or what's your process for that at the moment?
I'm not agented yet, but hopefully
Okay.
with this one, I think this one is going to be it's more commercial. I'd say it's more of a fun book compared to Pushing Daisy, which was about this asshole that people love. To hate.
Yeah.
More likable characters in this next one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, good luck, brother. I hope you find a good home for it. I'm confident that you will. Your work is great.
Thank you.
As for the bait that you threw out there for us Rams fans, which is me, if you haven't watched the show before, you may not know that, but if you have, then you definitely do. I actually agree with you, Chris. I think the Seahawks were the best team in the league. We were the best offense in the league. But you guys were more balanced. And once Sam Darnold stopped throwing interceptions, you guys were pretty hard to beat. Because
Yeah, that was the secret, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. And your run game started working, which it wasn't working as well earlier in the season, even though we all I knew it was there. I was like, you guys have great running backs. I don't know why.
Yeah,
You're
and I think
struggling, but-
that's what comes with it being such a complete team is that, when you have the run getting stymied at the line so often, that's when
Mhm.
you have JSN break out for these huge, explosive gains. And then when
Right.
people start, hanging on to JSN more, that's when Charbonnet comes in or K9 and they get 10-yard gains over and over and over.
Yeah, no, they were great, and it was kind of very indicative. Like whoever won that Week 11 game, we started trending down, and you started trending up after that, and it was the closest game. I was at that game in person. I was at the playoff game in person as well.
Oh, no way.
Oh, dude, it was so awesome. I mean, both of those games were incredible.
Yeah, that would've been
Combined point differential of 5. For people who don't watch football, that just means the games both together were won by 5 total points. So the first one was a 1-point win, and the second was a 4-point win. They were both super close.
So you were there when Charbonnet picked up that 2-point conversion?
Yeah, and honestly, that what to be there in person and all drunk, dude, nobody even knew what happened. It happened so quickly, and we were stoked as Rams fans. We were like, yeah,
we got
stopped him because we did. That was a bullshit call, by the way. And I think we
There
can
it
agree
is.
on that.
There
That
it
was a
is.
weird call.
Check the rule.
It was, Colin. That was a bullshit call. I'm not saying you didn't deserve to win the game. I think you still did because, you still did. So, but it was a dumb call, and it was weird because, it happened so out of nowhere, and everybody was just like, what just happened? And then all the Seahawks were like, yeah. We're like, God damn it.
It's kind
What
of like
just
the Puka
happened?
Nakua catch from the week before where he gets tackled and then crawls into the end zone for a touchdown.
Yeah, it was
Not a bullshit call. That one wasn't a bullshit call. That was totally legit, right?
I mean, it was a lot less bullshit than this one, which was kind of the refs just retroactively giving you a touchdown. But yeah, or a 2-point conversion.
War never
but
changes.
War never changes, Colin.
Not
That's right.
ever.
Which is a quote from Fallout, and that's a great way to segue us in. I'm glad somebody on this podcast is a goddamn professional, because we aren't a football
goodness.
podcast. If you tuned in and you
Not for
tuned
lack
back
of
out,
trying, though.
we don't try that hard. We knew this was coming because Chris and I actually kind of bonded on Discord talking football in the Howl Society chat. There's a whole chat for Football Chatter, and that's where I really met Chris, and then we met at StokerCon in person, and we've been homies ever since.
That's right.
And it's always good to talk some NFC West smack talk, but that's not why you're here. And if you tuned in and you were like, I thought this was about Fallout, not fucking football, you are correct technically. It just hasn't been true to this point. We're going to make it true now. We are here to talk about Fallout. We are here to debate it because that's what we do on Fermented Fiction. So if you don't know about Fallout, it's the Prime Video adaptation of the Fallout video games, which is a post-apocalyptic 1950s themed video game, RPG, big role-playing game. It's Bethesda, so it's very similar in a lot of ways, at least in terms of like the openness of the world and the building of the characters to other Bethesda games, like Skyrim and stuff like that. It's a very, very awesome game. If you've never played it, I highly recommend it. It is also a game that leaves itself relatively open to adaptation because it is so open world. And the creators of the show are very closely tied to the game. One of the producers of the show is also a producer on the game. So in a lot of ways, it stays really loyal to the subject matter. But that's up to debate. Whether they do that well or not, depending on whether you're a game fan or not. And we don't really get to decide that, do we, lads? On Fermented Fiction. We do not, because we are beholden to something greater. We are beholden to the dice gods. That's how it works on this show. We roll 2d20s. High roll defends, low roll attacks, regardless of what anyone actually thinks. Colin is going to be debating on behalf of Fermented Fiction today, and Chris is going to be debating on behalf of the rest of the genre fiction realm. So good luck. Good luck out there, Chris. Do you have a D20, my friend?
I do not.
Okay, I can roll this one for you.
Appreciate it.
The Rams
All right.
fan is going to roll for you. I'm just saying.
You would just say that.
I'm not Travis. What are we talking about here?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I rolled high.
How high?
It's 17.
So is mine, bitch.
What?
Oh,
Oh,
Oh my god,
17.
this has happened like once before.
I need a tiebreaker.
historic.
Tiebreaker. This is historic right here.
Quick arm wrestle.
It's like a Seahawks-Rams game right here, going into overtime.
It is.
Oh, that's a lot. Oh, no, that's higher.
Oh no.
It's higher than 17?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll do it then. I got a 14. Still
That's a
decent roll.
19.
Okay.
Nice.
Dang.
Are you sure that's not a 16, buddy?
It looked.
It doesn't matter. It still beats a 14, but I do think
It
that
still
was a
does.
16 you held to the camera.
He feels.
19.
He would feel better if he only lost by that much.
I
Yeah.
would. I would. You'll notice I brought up the point differential earlier in the show as a way to salve my wounds. I'm
It's
doing that
important to
again.
us.
It's important to us. Okay, and what else is important is that we do this show after all. So, Jeremy, I'll allow you to count us in. I'm going to pop off the screen. Have a terrible or great debate, depending on if you liked your roll or not, everybody.
Yeah.
Whoa, not that one. Jeremy,
All
do
right.
it.
Okay. So, want a good, clean fight, everybody? Just absolutely go for it. No holds will be barred. Shots below the belt encouraged. Headshots, dirty tricks, everything you got. Let's flip and go for 10 minutes. And that is starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, here we go. It's finally the time of glory, which is another Walter Goggins for your life, because, I mean, he might be the best of the best right now. An OG actor who's been incredible for so long, and I feel like finally getting his limelight. And here it is, a video game adaptation, which are so commonly not good until very recently. And we have a show that basically everyone is raving about that features Walter Goggins being awesome and being both a dramatic and a comedic actor, multiple characters essentially in the same character over 200 years. We have Ella Purnell absolutely slaying it as our sort of Girl Scout character who does great, but also is more complicated than that and has to deal with her own moral quandaries in this future wasteland. And we also have guest appearances as well. And we have the fantastic Kyle MacLachlan, who's been amazing since like the 80s as Lucy's father. And what's great about season 2 compared to season 1 of this show, Fallout, is that the so much of like how we got to this wasteland is now in the storyline as a flashback, and it involves these very characters and the choices they made 200 years ago. And with all the future technology of this post-apocalyptic world, we have these like storyline reasons for how the choices people made 200 years ago affect right now. And we feel like we're following these two storyline threads that are completely interwoven with the same people, and all the while how some things never change. The entire structure of elites and regular old people is the same sort of thing that is constant. And it's just fantastically well written. The whole thing carries through as an overarching plot between episodes 1 and 8, the final episode in this series, with all kinds of plot twists. So A+, watch it.
Yeah. There's a lot to disagree with you there. But I think my entire argument will really hinge around the fact that despite the good acting choices and the good casting choices, you don't get to appreciate that because your attention is drawn in so many different threads. You have, not only do you have different timelines, but you have different factions that you jump around to. You get like 5 minutes with each character before you're pulled like dramatically to another character, whether that's Walton Goggins' Ghoul, like if you're sticking with him impaled on a spike for an entire episode, or you're taken to a vault underground and you're watching this what was it, like an incestuous survivors of incest, I think. You're watching the support group and them vying for resources, and it's like we're getting so much that we don't care about in this show. We're getting so much fluff, and yes, while that serves to really expand the universe and deepen the lore behind this already in-depth IP in Fallout, it's too much. We're losing sight of the things that made season 1 great. We're losing sight of these character struggles. Lucy struggling with her dad being a villain. We want to stick with that. Like, we want to stick with her dynamic with the Ghoul and her dynamic with her dad. We don't want to get taken away to Maximus, like Kumail Nanjiani's character coming in and like being great for two episodes and then boom, gone. We need to focus. And I hope that's something that Fallout Season 3 gets into, because if we continue down this trajectory and things just keep on getting muddied, then I don't know if I'm going to keep watching, to be honest.
This is actually the most watched Amazon show after The Rings of Power. And I think it kind of shows, especially when you compare it to like the Wheel of Time venture, where I saw a lot of connections with Game of Thrones, where we're very much following multiple storylines and multiple threads, and we're really focusing on usually 1 or 2 characters at a time. And what's great about that, and that there's a great writer that I listen to sometimes on his podcast, and he was saying, one of the great things about Game of Thrones is that they followed frequently 2 characters who were so different from one another and usually hated one another, and they would have to go on a journey together. And that was what really hooked a lot of people in, even if they were in it for the dragons. Like, what really pulls people in and keeps them there are these very different people who have to talk to one another, and their character arc evolves and they change based on that. And Fallout Season 2, especially more than Season 1, I feel like, is starting to make people more complicated. All those villains at the first season are much more complicated and much more like we identify with them more in the second season. And a lot of those organizations are also more complicated. And just each of those characters, they're changing dynamically each time we hook into them. And it is very like split up. There's lots of flashbacks and everything else, but they do all tie together. They are all important and significant for the storylines.
Yeah, I could see that on like a macro level, but when you zoom in, you have Lucy's brother Norm, and does he change? Like, no, he started the end of season 1 being brave, and he ended season 2 being brave. Lucy, does she change? Does she start to become more nuanced in her understanding of the wasteland? No, she's still pure at heart. She's still good. She's still, has pity for her father. Like, yes, she's drawn a little bit to the dark side when she's like, oh, maybe we can fix the wasteland by mind controlling everyone. But ultimately, she falls towards justice. Walton Goggins, Coop, does he really change? No, he's conflicted at the end of season 1. He's conflicted at the end of season 2. I feel like there's no change. There's fewer stakes. This is something that Clay touched on last time I was on. No one dies. No, we don't lose anybody. At the end, we're going into spoilers, right? At the end of season 2. At the end of season 2, if you haven't seen it, Kyle MacLachlan, Hank, he we kind of lose him. Like, we kind of lose his character but we don't lose him. Like, that was the most that they were willing to do. The most that they were willing to like cut a character is that, oh, Hank McLean is now his memory is wiped. He's still here. They couldn't even kill off one character.
I think that his character arc deserves like its own discussion because there's a lot going on there. But I think that, basically the ghoul, Cooper Howard, played by Walter Goggins, like his character changes, I think changes a lot because he cut Lucy's finger off in the first season, and in the second season, like, he doesn't do that. They rely on one another a lot. And the beginning episodes,
that's growth.
The beginning episodes, like, they still hate one another, but they still have to use one another and work together. And then at the end of the second season, like, he trusts her completely, really. And he lets her make her choice. He saves her in a moment where she needs help and then leaves her to follow his own journey, which I think that is a huge change in his character, where we have very much the ghoul and we have Cooper, completely separate entities, and then over the course of the season, those two people start becoming, instead of completely different people, closer together. So the ghoul becomes more like Coop, and Coop becomes more like the ghoul, and he becomes this third new thing over the course of that, which is also, there's hinted at some sort of storyline of abominations and what they're going to have and what's going to happen with that in season 3, and who is the real enemy pulling the strings behind the enemies, which would be the Enclave. And so I think those were really, that was cool, actually. And to pick out a like scene that especially highlights this, which I was very appreciative, is the like house, the Robco CEO and Cooper, when they meet before the world ends. That scene, I think, was one of my favorite in the whole series, because you have two people. You think that we have Cooper's the good guy and this Robco house, billionaire is the bad guy, but their conversation shows that they are very similar in dimension.
Shut up, Colin. We're done with it. We're done. It's over.
Beer of the week.
Oh, I had
Beer of the week right now, man.
I had one more.
One more. No, we'll never hear it.
You'll get your chance. You'll get your chance when you get to say what you really believe, which is after our fun facts and our beer of the week. All right. I don't know if anybody's drinking beer because it's 10 a.m. I know that I am not. I'm just drinking coffee, so I'll go ahead and say that. But yeah, is anybody got an interesting drink going on today?
I have something.
do.
I need to go grab it.
What you got, Chris?
I actually, I was at Costco, as I usually am, and I found their Jones collection of Fallout drinks.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah, so I got here a Sunset Sarsaparilla.
nice.
It's a twist off, but the box did come with this cool Vault-Tec bottle opener, so I'm gonna use that instead, because it's too early. I'm gonna twist it. So yeah,
What a tease.
now I researched this extensively, and sarsaparilla is different than root beer. They're similar, but they are different.
Okay.
Except in this case, in which Jones just rebottled their root beer with a sarsaparilla label. So
Sure.
bit of a tease, but still delicious.
Hell yeah. That's awesome that you found an actual line of Fallout drinks. That's cool.
Yeah.
And it don't lose that bottle cap. You might need it someday.
I got a
Um,
collection.
Good. Jeremy, what do you got? Got anything interesting?
Well, because I'm in a later time zone and it's not 10 a.m., I am busting out the thing that, regular viewers of the show will know spoils my opinion of this.
Oh, shit.
This is my terrible infinity bottle.
Oh,
It
shit.
tastes insane.
Insanely good.
No.
No, it tastes like losing your mind.
Jeremy, just for in case anybody's a new viewer, why don't you tell people what your infinity bottle is?
So my infinity bottle, right? Various whiskeys, also some gin in there that one time that I've started mixing with this Kaulila 12-year whiskey, which tastes like smoking Band-Aids until it stops tasting so bad. It stopped tasting bad. Now it just tastes crazy. And this is it's the exact kind of post-apocalyptic booze slurry that is going to get me through a season of Fallout.
All right. Well, there we go. A little sneak preview, a spoiler, if you will, as we are wont to do on this show for what Jeremy thinks about this show. Colin, what do you got?
All right, I have the exact opposite of Jeremy's drink, which is the best
Glass of
scotch
water?
that you will ever have in your life.
Oh,
It
that's
is
a tall
called
order.
Bunnahabhain 12-year scotch, and it is fantastic. And I had it at a scotch tasting in Scotland, and that's the only reason I found out about it. And it's, I want to say, $80 a bottle, which there are more expensive bottles of scotch, way more expensive. But honestly, I think this is better than most of them. This
Okay.
is literally, having tried like, I don't know how many dozens of scotches, this one is the best. Just get this one. It's the best. And even my wife, who is not a scotch fan, loves it.
I love scotch, and that's actually
Poncha.
in a reasonable price range. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
have to go
nice.
check it out.
Not terrible, man.
Bunnahabhain, this one's for free, but if you want another shout out on Fermented Fiction, all you got to do is ask.
I'll
Here
shout
we
you out
are.
every other sentence if you want me to.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
we'll shamefully sell out to you motherfuckers. All you got to do is toss us a little cash. Toss us a few bottle caps, baby, and we're yours. You can put that microchip right in my brain. But before we do that, we're going to do some fun facts because we do that on this show as well. I've compiled 10 fun facts, but I'm sure that Colin has another couple that I might miss. If anybody has a fact that I miss, feel free to shout it out. This show, like it or not, is riddled with Easter eggs and fun things that you can pick out from the video game. So if you are a fan of the video game, you can have a lot of fun just trying to cherry pick all the Easter eggs while you watch along. And there are entire articles that basically point out every Easter egg in every episode. So, yeah, if that's the kind of thing that interests you, just Google it. Go check it out. My first fact. So, Fallout, the IP, was originally developed in 1997 by Black Isle Studios and Interplay Games. They were created by Tim Kaine and Christopher Taylor as a spiritual successor to Interplay's 1988 game, Wasteland. And it's pretty fascinating. We have a little bit of a Walter White situation going on here, where he sold his stake in Gray Matter for $5K, and it became a multi-billion-dollar company. The IP for Fallout was sold to Bethesda for $5.7 million. Care to guess how much it's worth today?
$1 billion.
I don't think that
There
much,
you
but I
go.
bet it's hundreds of millions.
It is worth over $4 billion today.
What?
That is
Yes.
bonkers.
No way.
It is. And, you know, they have created several other games. There are lots of in-app purchases you can buy or in-game purchases. There's lots of extensions, including a new one that came out in 2025 that features Coop as a character and takes place in Ohio. There's all kinds of great stuff. And now there's this show that's called Hot Springs or something. Desert Springs, something like that. The Ohio one.
Is that a video game?
It's an add-on. It's like a DLC.
For which game?
4, I believe.
Oh, I gotta look
Yeah.
into this.
Worth checking out if you
Yeah.
are a game fan. I do love the Fallout games. I specifically love Fallout 3, I most love Fallout 3, which was the first of the Bethesda acquisition. So once they took it over, I do think the game really went on the up and up. They put their money in the right place and created some great games out there. So definitely do recommend playing Fallout, even if you don't like this show. But if you like RPGs, like the Elder Scrolls or anything in that realm, definitely check out Fallout. It's really fun.
And this season is centered on New Vegas, which is
Yes.
a whole expansion to Fallout 3.
Yeah, I mean, New Vegas, even calling it a DLC doesn't feel fair. It feels very much like its own game. It's in the same universe and everything, obviously, but New Vegas has so many new factions and characters, and a lot more delving into the backstory of the Fallout universe as a whole. But yeah, New Vegas is very fun as well. So, fact number 3. The Super Duper Mart scenes were filmed in an abandoned ShopRite on Staten Island that was regularly broken into, because you can actually just see the Super Duper Mart sign and everything like from the highway. So people were like, I think I know what's going on over there. And they were breaking in regularly. So that was a problem. There are differing opinions on whether you should play the game to prepare for your role. Goggins decided that would not be a good idea for him, but Ella Purnell played through several of the games and really enjoyed them and used them to sort of embody her character. So fun how you could go both ways. I think they both do a good job with their performances. So it's interesting how that can affect you. Especially Ella Purnell, because I feel like the Vault character is easier to just kind of like act the archetype, because it's so like buttoned up 1950s, be the perfect little citizen. And then once you get out into the wasteland, how that's going to change you. So I think it's interesting that she played through all the games and Goggins did not. Number 5, Vault 33 has been criticized as a plot hole by game cloaks who didn't appreciate this interpretation of the show, I guess, because it's not technically in the game, even though it is in the same area that the games take place, especially New Vegas, as you said, Colin. But the original creator of the games said it's actually canonically possible that the master would not have that comprehensive list of every single vault, because there was lots of different factions and stuff towards the end of the Vault Tech schism. So technically it's canonically possible, and the show seems to have really respected its subject material, whether you like the way that came across or not. The co-showrunner Graham Wagner is very committed to the use of practical effects, and you can tell watching this show. But the props department in this show is off the chain. Like, that battle armor is actually, there is a actual person in that. They worked with the stunt performer, and his name is, I had it written down here, Adam Shippey, for 4 months prior to starting filming on the first season, to like get the movement right and make sure it was all going to feel really authentic. But this show, it uses actually very little CGI. And in a interview, the showrunner Graham Wagner said, well, I don't want to just make a cartoon. If we were going to do 80% CGI, we might as well just make a cartoon. So he was all about practical effects and keeping it real. So all the big Pit Boy props and everything, pretty much all the ghouls and everything, that's all practical effects. Very little CGI. Of course, we have the death claws and rad roaches and rad scorpions in the season 2, so there's a little bit more, but I still think it's really cool, the commitment to practical effects, especially in this day and age. Cooper Howard's fictional Western film that he's starring in at the beginning of season 1 and that kind of like echoes through the whole series, called A Man and His Dog, is a reference to Harlan Ellison's short story, A Boy and His Dog, which is a huge inspiration for the dog meat character and for Fallout as a whole. That's a story where a boy and his telepathic dog are wandering a post-apocalyptic wasteland.
I think we should watch that movie for this show because it looks so bonkers. The tagline is "The year is 2024."
I know.
So good.
I know. It's funny watching the old like 80s and 70s movies that predicted like this would be the time where either incredible scientific advantages or everything was a complete wasteland everywhere across the globe. They weren't that far off, just 10 years or so, but we'll see. We'll see.
A Boy and His Dog, an R-rated, rather kinky tale of survival.
Oh, okay.
Rather kinky.
I'm in.
That's on the poster.
Oh,
I don't know if kinky meant the same thing in 1975. Rather kinky. I'm gonna say it meant something somewhat different than it has become.
God,
I don't know. Have you read Harlan Ellison?
Yeah, well, that's fair.
He gets wild.
He does get wild. That's true, Chris. Maybe it is rather kinky.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Rather
Go watch A
kinky.
Boy and His Dog and tell us if you think if the definition of kinky has drastically changed or if it lived up to your expectations of that term. The town of Philly is built upon a landfill. That's why it's called Philly, not anything to do with Philadelphia. And when I first watched the show, I was like, oh, are they in Philadelphia? They are not. It's just a town that's built on a landfill. And something we love to do in the 50s. Yes. Yeah, well, fair. And something we love to do in the 50s was just put E at the end of everything. That's why movies are called movies, which when you realize that makes them seem really dumb.
Oh, no.
But it's just because they're moving. That's
oh,
it.
no.
That's why.
The movies.
Why did you tell me that? That's
Isn't
so
that
stupid?
Look,
no?
we're all
isn't it
just
kind of depressing.
look. Aren't you just happy that we don't call them talkies anymore?
Yeah, I am, but it's also not as different as you would like to think it is. So yeah, that's something everybody knows now. 2 facts for the price of 1. Vault 24 in the new season is a curious one because it doesn't actually exist in Fallout New Vegas, but it did at one point. So apparently, a Vault 24 jumpsuit was found in the game files of the Obsidian's RPG. So it was in there at one point, and then it was ultimately cut. So they decided to put it back in as a kind of homage to that vault that was. And as you can see in the show, if you go watch it, it's not a great vault to have ended up in. So yeah, hopefully you were in a different one than that. And then finally, just a fun Easter egg. As an example, you can find lots of these online, but there's so many Easter eggs from the games. But a fun one they start season 2 with is the Radiation King van behind Robert House when he's in the alleyway and he's going to forcefully microchip these thugs that are threatening to beat him up because he walked in kind of just being a chode and they're going to beat his ass for it. But ultimately, that's not how it goes down. The Radiation King is an electronic company that, among other electronic items throughout the Fallout universe, all the games, they make all the TVs in Fallout, which are kind of everywhere. So it's a lot of fun. Radiation King is like all over the Fallout games. So it's fun that was like the van that he was working out of even at the time. You can kind of see like Colin was talking about, the capitalist, imperialist kind of echoes there even early on in the show, and the way they continue to permeate the show as a whole is a lot of fun, because that's a big message of the show, going with war never changes and the societal structures never really change all that much. Even when the world has been reduced to a radioactive wasteland, we kind of still have kings, we kind of still have dukes and knights and Caesar's legion out there just fucking around.
That's Kaiser.
That's Kaiser.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's Kaiser. I hate that so much. But
So
it is
bad.
really funny. It's also funny. I do love that at the end they're marching to Vegas to form Kaiser's Palace, which is just so great. But yeah, this show has a good mix of humor and all kinds of other stuff. We're going to get into that. But before we do, we're going to all talk about what we actually think. And because you rolled low, Chris, now's your chance. If you were lying and you actually loved the Fallout show, this is your chance to tell us that. If you were being honest and you didn't quite get to spew enough vitriol towards the Fallout show and you want to do a little more of that, this is also your chance. What did you really think about Fallout? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Why?
Well, there was a kernel of truth to my argument, and that I did feel like your attention was pulled in too many different directions, but ultimately I really did enjoy it. Like, these characters are awesome, the acting is amazing, like you said, the set pieces are incredible, the practical effects, everything, the humor, like everything just really hits on like all cylinders. So like this was a show that, you know, I got into, my wife got into. She's one of these people who watches TV while she's on her phone at the same time, and this really engaged her. So, you know, for a show to do that, I think it's going to be doing that for a lot of people. And then going into the next season, you know, with the super mutants and everything, it's going to be just, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for the Super Mutants too. I think that's going to be a lot of fun, especially
And that cameo.
Yes.
The cameo was. I was listening. I was like, that voice sounds familiar.
Yep.
And I'm lucky because I watched it a few episodes late, so I thought for sure it would have been spoiled at that point. But you know, it was a surprise for me.
Yeah. And I agree. I think the amount of sentience they're evidently giving the super mutants too will make them a lot more interesting. And you could, you know, that will prevent them from just being the death claws again, which is something that I think happens a lot in shows where it's just like, oh, one existential threat has been vanquished. Here's another existential threat, and this one's bigger. So at least it won't be that. They have some sentience, so that adds that layer of intentionality and morality and everything else, societal structure. And yeah, I mean, it just makes sense if you're a ghoul, team up with those guys. They're fucking trying to do it. Colin, you also were subject to the whims of the dice gods. You brought your fancy scotch, so I'm guessing you really like this show, but am I guessing correctly?
I did enjoy the show for sure. In fact, I think season 2 is better than season 1. And I'm going to keep watching it into season 3. We'll see what happens. I think that I sort of agreed with some of Chris's points too, in a way. Like, I think there are definitely much stronger storylines and story arcs in season 2. Not all of them are you know, masterfully written, I don't think. And I think we'll talk later probably about Hank and that final scene in the whole season 2 with Lucy and Maximus, and, you know, Hank just chilling in the back. And I think that the like death claws in the video game, like when you saw a death claw, you fucking ran.
Yeah,
because that thing was gonna tear the shit apart.
Yeah, you crapped your pants, and then you ran.
And like in this show, it's like they start that way, and then he's just killing them no problem in the final episode with his shitty ass armor that seems like it wouldn't work right in the first place. And it's like, oh, okay, we can just kill these guys with these little rockets all of a sudden.
Yeah,
but
and a sniper rifle.
yeah, and so there were points in the story where I was like, why are we doing this? But as usual, Fallout is funny as hell, and there's a lot of like comedic moments that definitely draw me back in. And one of the cool things that surprised me was Cooper gets arrested, and the guy talks about the House of Un-American Activities. And I thought that was just a brilliant moment. That was just kind of a little reference to history and also to like what's going on right now in our world.
Yeah.
You know, the way that he's sort of just fighting for democracy is like, oh yeah, you're being arrested by the House of Un-American Activities for that activity.
The UAA.
And then the also, speaking of things that I'm looking forward to, obviously the Super Mutants, but also the Liberty Prime cameo at the end. I had to explain to my wife what Liberty Prime is, and I would be so stoked to see Liberty Prime on Amazon Prime, just stomping through and, you know, die communist scum for freedom. I so hope that happens.
Yeah.
Dude, Liberty Prime is so not here for the commie scum, and he's coming to stomp all remnants of commie scum from the wasteland. Yeah, and it's gonna be as good of a time as the Super Mutants, and hopefully a better time than the Death Claws, because I'm with you on that. And that's probably a question we will get to. Jeremy, you brought the Infinity Bottle. So
I
you
did.
hate this. Why?
It is. Look, hey, now I'm here to talk to you all about the basically unprecedented 2-time failure of the 3-episode test that I have developed in all my years of watching television. It takes, in general, and there are very few exceptions, it takes 3 episodes of any show to get a sense of like where it's going, if I like trying to get there or whatever. And by 3 episodes of this, and of course having to finish the 5 episodes of the first season to get to these 3 episodes, God, this show is a slog. And like I think there was some alluding to it. It's like there are 3 nearly interesting shows all trying to happen at once. Like you've got, Walton Goggins in the past trying and failing to stop stupid evil corporations from ending the world. Like I don't know. Did they just forget that people can't buy all their crap if everyone's dead? Like, I don't get it. I don't get how you get from point A to point B. At least in the real world, the people ending the world are probably just doing it by accident, by being dickheads. Then you've also got the post-apocalyptic buddy road trip story going on with the Lucy and the ghoul, which could be fun if it was just what the focus was. And then you've got what's basically Game of Thrones with an idiot in power armor, which, again, that could be fun, but I think everything gets just enough focus to show off something that was in the game and just bounce off to a different, seemingly unrelated storyline. Like, and it doesn't give me a chance to really fall in love with or see development in any of our 3 main characters, the dork, the jock, and the prick, all of whom, at this point, I hope just fall down a well.
Which would be really bad in this world.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of
Mirelurks
radiation
down there for sure.
It would be terrible. It would be terrible. And none of it served to answer my biggest question from the first season, and in fact, it made the question worse, which is, what happened to the chicken fucker? There's a dude out there having sex with chickens and turning people into ghouls, and also we see that there's an entire organization dedicated to eradicating ghouls, and they're not looking into it. They're just not. So
I don't know if that's in the first 3 episodes. He's
yeah,
back,
did you?
though.
He is back.
The chicken fucker does get resolved, Jeremy.
Yeah.
And I think you'd be satisfied with
that's
his
too
fate.
little, too late. You know,
He has a good arc. He changes his ways.
He's
he changes his ways.
He
changes
does.
his chicken fucking ways.
He does change his chicken fucking ways. I don't think he's fucking any chickens after he gets that microchip in his face. He ends up showing up at the microchip facility there with our boy. He
is a point of view character for a while in one of the episodes.
Yeah,
we are
dude,
following
you really
the chicken fucker as he walks across the wasteland, having had a shitty time from the previous season, and now he's moving on and following his own path for a bit, and that ends up with him saying yes to having his memories wiped.
Can I be
finds
so
Hank.
bold as to say I prefer him as a chicken fucker? I know when your friends get sober, you're supposed to be like, "Oh, this is the real you," but I prefer the chicken fucker.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm with you, Chris. I think that is bold. It's a bit of a hot take, especially if you happen to be of the avian persuasion. But I do. You know, I want autonomy for people out there. I think people deserve to have autonomy. But yeah, he meets Hank, and his chicken fucking ways are forever altered. And he is the first successful microchip experiment. His head does not explode like all those poor little mice out there. So many exploded mice.
So many mice.
Also,
God.
where did he get
And
them?
then people.
And why aren't they
Oh,
irradiated?
they had a whole livestock thing.
Dude, you know
in
what
that
pissed
vault.
me off? Is how often he gets in the goddamn golf cart to go get another single mouse.
Bring a
Bring a
whole cage.
Bring
Just
the
bring them
fucking
all.
cage, dude.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
bro, come on.
but he wanted to drive the golf
meticulously
cart.
cleans
Yeah.
the room every single time so that the mouse has a nice clean workspace.
Listen,
Yeah,
if
we're not
I want to
animals
change
here.
the future, I'm gonna put on a full-on American Psycho suit when I'm turning up that head microchip,
Yeah.
because I don't want to
Sure.
get my suit
and rock the
bloody
gold
every
tip
time.
Yeah, you're going to be doing a Dexter situation. Like,
He's doing it wrong.
Hank does not have efficiency figured out. Like, he could just have a plastic tarp and do
He's
it
doing
on a
it for the
plastic
love of
tarp
the
every
game.
time.
He
He
is.
is.
He's a man who loves what he does.
He
He
does.
takes his
And
time.
I will say that was a great like acting moment. The acting in the show is awesome. But I am the biggest sucker for like subtle, believable connections to the performance that show me the actor is fully in their role. And the one that did that for me with Hank was when he asks Lucy if she's ever ridden a golf cart, and she says no, and he's like, "You're gonna love this golf cart."
See, I
He's
will
like-
say my favorite character, probably in the whole show that I've seen so far, is just Macaulay Culkin in Kaisar's Legion.
Mhm.
Just
Yes.
Just being
so
like, we're
weird.
doing Rome. Like, well, you're doing it bad. I'm like, I don't think so.
I disagree.
Who's to say?
And we're gonna crucify you about it. But yeah, what a comeback! What a comeback!
God, so
And
good.
there he is, and he makes it. You know, spoiler alert, but he is Kaisar now, and he's going to form Kaisar's palace, and we're gonna see how that goes for him. As for me, I'm kind of in the middle of everybody. I enjoy enough about this show that watching it wasn't like a slog for me compared to other things we've had to watch on this show for sure. It was far from the worst thing we've ever debated. But I agree with what Chris said in his debate. I agree with a lot of what Jeremy's saying. I do think there's too many threads pulling in too many different directions. And I think that does lend the character development to a bit of a shallow flow. There are some characters that are developed more. Obviously, Coop is very developed. But I do think that's part of the problem is like, to me, one of the more interesting parts of the show, probably the most interesting part, is pre-apocalypse. Like, it's Coop's story with his wife. I feel more connected to that storyline by quite a bit than I do to any of the storylines in the post-apocalypse. And that's the fallout that I know. It's the fallout that I came to the show for. So I do feel a little bit let down by that. And I feel like they know that too. Like they continue to use that thread to string us through the apocalypse, and I don't see why that needs to be necessary. Like, you should have plenty of material to work with and to entertain us with without having to have a like character relationship that predates the apocalypse by 200 years. I feel like you got enough to work with without that. That said, I enjoy the Cooper story, so I'm not complaining about it, but I do think it's just a bit of a detriment to the world of Fallout being represented in the show, that the most interesting storyline is one that doesn't even happen in the post-apocalypse wasteland. But I'll be interested to see what you guys think about that. I have a question about it specifically. After our 5-minute break, which is going to happen as soon as I stop talking, we are going to be back with this panel, and we're going to be discussing Fallout. We're going to be discussing the writing craft and everything else that comes up randomly as we ramble on. So we're going to go to 5-minute break. Chris, go ahead and kick off your camera and mic for us so that you go off the screen. We're all going to do the same. We'll see everybody in 5. Goodbye. Hello, Fermented folks. Welcome to another episode of Fermented Fiction, the first of our new season, and I believe it's season 4. The show where we drink beer and argue with each other and bring on really awesome creative guests.
If you'll permit me to go a little bit outside the box. Once upon a time, apparently, people used to sniff mummy remains, powdered mummy remains, like cocaine. So I think 3 lines of powdered mummy remains, if you can get to that as well. Yeah, that'll get you right to really enjoy the movie, you know?
Dave told us all about making a mead, and I talk shit about Tom Bombadil, as I am wont to do whenever people bring up Lord of the Rings.
You would. You should.
And then that's
Everybody
exactly what he
freaking
made.
chill about Tom Bombadil, or I'll get unreasonably upset.
So, in your assessment, what did you think of the everyone kind of paired off, or at least a number of people did, romantically? How'd you feel about that? Did that seem really forced and dumb to you, or?
Tom Bombadil is a merry old fellow with his bright blue jacket and his boots are yellow. Right?
It's our yellow.
Right.
Imagine discovering mummy remains and oh my god, these ancient figures. Dude, what if we crushed this and snorted it, yo? I bet we'd get fucked up.
Let's talk for a moment about the fucking all-star cast in this movie. We have Ewan McGregor slaughtering it the entire time, main character energy, top to bottom. You can't argue with it. Women want him, men want him, everybody wants Ewan McGregor. Okay? If you don't agree with that, you're lying to yourself.
Apparently she had a backstory, but they cut it because she's very hard-nosed at the beginning. And then I will say another pro of this movie is their chemistry is hot. And I feel like if they didn't have that chemistry, I would have been ugh. Because she says at one point, she's like, oh, it's the apocalypse. What are we going to do? Fuck. And he's like, and then later when they are kissing, if they didn't have chemistry and if it was 2 lesser actors, I think it would have been an eye roll, felt cheesy, but you feel their bond.
The Langoliers themselves were originally going to be portrayed by puppets. And I think maybe they should have. Maybe they should have.
Dude, that's amazing.
There's no maybe about that.
And I wish that I could say that there was something greater happening here than the war diary of a broken man living as sort of this White Tower academic with all of his friends sitting inside the Eagle and Child drinking beer and pretending Magic Lion Jesus isn't really silly. Because, it is. If we can just all be very honest with each other.
The Lord's work out there. Good job.
I like to think that I am. Most people aren't big enough, but I am. I'm willing to step up, you know?
Yeah. Dedicate that time. You're willing to willing to dedicate that time.
The time, the money, all of it.
Ah, that was so painful. It's one of those painful things
Oh, that
I've done
was
in my
so
life.
That was so good. We've never been so savagely attacked by any author on their show. It's incredible. Okay, yeah. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hell yeah. Hello. Welcome back to Fermented Fiction. If you're just joining us, we're here with Christopher O'Halloran, author of Pushing Daisy, Seahawks fan, and Canadian. Those are the three things I know most about him. He's got his Seahawks wings on, and I appreciate that, Chris. He's a father, too. I know this as well. And just a good dude. Just a good all-around dude. Thanks for being here, Chris. We appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Clay. I appreciate you.
Hell
you too,
yeah.
Jeremy. Where'd Colin go?
He's probably checking on his baby.
Or that.
Babies.
Or
They're so
something.
needy. That's one thing that people don't tell you about babies is that they're ridiculously needy.
I know, those darn youths. Good.
Yeah.
Those youths.
So surprising. Can't do anything for themselves.
I know. They need to learn some goddamn agency out there and get their shit together instead of just putting it in diapers all the time. But hey,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? I mean, that's what you're here for. You're here to teach them how to do that, right?
Yeah. God willing.
God willing. Oh, look at Colin. He went and
look at
suited up as
you.
well. He went and suited up. Okay.
Let's
Well,
go.
here we are. We have two Seahawks fans on the show, and it's unfortunate. But we're going to power through.
That's the
We're gonna
majority.
power
The
through.
majority of Fermented Fiction is stoked about the Seahawks. We're Seahawks official
Are they?
podcast.
Mhm.
We
Just-
Are we?
aren't. We
It's
aren't
a team
that.
full of good guys. You
What
can't
are you
help but
counting
root
as
for
the
'em.
majority? Are you
So
counting
we're
yourself,
here to
your
talk
hat, and your
about
sweatshirt?
Fallout Season 2. Hell of a show. Fallout Season 2. There's a lot
Unlike the
to
Rams.
discuss. And so, okay, buddy, take it easy here.
Bro.
So we are going to get into our panel discussion portion where we're going to talk about all things art, all things creative, centered around the theme of Fallout and seen through the Fallout lens. So let's start with something, Chris, that you brought up in your debate, and that's been discussed by almost everybody on the panel. That is the amount of storylines and factions and characters in this show. Now, this is a TV show, so it has the benefit of many, many hours of programming, which it can use to sort of like give us a bunch of different glimpses and perspectives and angles on the world, which for a adaptation of Fallout feels fitting because it's a massive game. You can make a lot of different choices, and I think the showrunners really want to allow the audience to explore the world as much as possible. But is it effective? Are there too many storylines? Are there too many characters? And sort of how do you strike that balance as a creator in your own stuff? Chris, we'll start with you, and then we'll go through the rest of the panel. But what about this show to you works in that regard? What do you think maybe gets it a little off kilter? And what storylines specifically draw you in the most and why?
The storylines that drew me in the most with Fallout were the ones that had like the strong characters. Like Lucy's storyline really drew me in because you see her struggling with like drug addiction at some point, and you see her struggling with her morality a lot. And I think that's where you're going to see a lot of engagement versus something like Norm's storyline when he's escaping with all the executives out of the vault. You don't the conflict there. It's not really character based. It's more like it's just there to serve as exposition. It's there to show like, oh, hey, super mutants are coming. Like that whole storyline basically culminated in that. That's all it was there for. And that's not to say that like I'm not excited to see Norm. Like I want to see what he gets up to because he's like this little weak guy, and I want to see him thrive and find a way to, excel in this wasteland. But yeah, the storylines that have the strong characters with the strong motivations, that's what really draws me in.
Yeah, and can you think of some examples of maybe what are some examples of some of your other stories that maybe are expansive like Fallout, that are telling a really big story but maybe do it really effectively that you could point to, if you have any?
Stories of my own or stories from like other.
Either one. Yeah, I mean, I am interested in hearing how you, as a creator, try to strike this balance. But I guess for that specific question, I was speaking to other things you enjoy. What do you look for as a
Yeah.
consumer when it comes to telling a big story like that? Like, other than characters, and what are some good examples?
Well, Game of Thrones did it well. Breaking
Mhm.
Bad did it well. The Wire did it well. Like when you have like different factions in Fallout, or like you could have different factions in anything, and that's a good way to kind of examine many different angles of a problem. Like you go to
Mhm.
Breaking Bad, for example, and you can see this whole industry from so many different perspectives. Like you've got Skylar's perspective from the outside in, seeing this all these horrible things that are going on. And then you have Walt's perspective from the inside out, where it's like, okay, you see the justifications for the horrible things. And like The Wire, you
Mhm.
see the drug trade, you see the relationships, you see the corruption. And I think all of that really serves to show how full life is. you know, it's
Mhm.
it's kind of like a beautiful sentiment that's couched within these horrible subject matters. But it's
Yeah.
like, that is life. Like you have the good, you take the good, you take the bad, you take it all, and there you have, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, everything.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point there, actually, that I think the shows that do it best, and I do not think Fallout is one of those shows. I
Mhm.
think it's pretty average on that in that regard. It has storylines that are deeper that work really well, but then it has a lot like the Kaiser's Legion, for example. They feel more like comedy than any actual existential threat, and I wouldn't have a
Right.
problem with that if that's what they stayed. But at the end, they're marching on New Vegas, and they're supposed to be seen as a threat. I don't see them as a threat. They look like a bunch of clowns because that's how they were portrayed. They look like
Yeah.
they're led by a clown, like they're not threatening to me. So them marching on New Vegas, and that's one of the final scenes of the show. Like that to me fell really flat because I'm not afraid of Kaiser's Legion. I
No,
don't
like
have a lot.
when you have guys walking around in power armor who, you get one or two of those guys, he's going to take out that whole legion.
Right. And they don't have a competent leader or anything. So I'm not afraid of them. If, however, Kaiser that ended up winning the brawl at the end seemed like a really dangerous dude who was actually really clever, instead of just sort of bumbling into his position of power, I would feel like, oh, maybe he is dangerous, but he doesn't feel that way to me. So and that was like, I think that's a good example, and it's indicative of the problem I have with Fallout throughout. Is like they set up things, but there seems to be places where they set it up in a way that doesn't really make it land. Like that Kaiser's Legion marching on Vegas at the end does not feel like a real threat. I think there's a lot of instances like that, and the Death Claws are another good example. Like they
Right.
were established, and anyone who played the game sees a Death Claw, we're like excited, right?
Mhm.
I was when I saw a Death Claw
Yeah.
because when you guys are absolutely right. You play that game, even when you're powerful, like towards the end, like when you've got all your shit, you've got your power armor, whatever you need to have to feel like you could take on a Deathclaw. If you saw two, you'd be like, I'm not going in there. Like,
Yeah. We've all been Coop. Like when he
Yep.
sees a death claw, he's shitting his pants. Like
Yep.
that is the reaction that you should have.
Right. And like it makes sense that I'm drawing a blank on our knight's name real quick. Maximus.
Maximus.
It makes sense that he isn't as afraid of a Deathclaw as Coop because he hasn't seen what they can do.
That
And
makes
he's in
sense,
his
yeah.
power armor, so he feels invincible. But like Coop knows for sure. And like his reaction is the way anyone who played the video game feels that should be the right reaction. And I really didn't like the fight at the end when he just starts taking out Deathclaws. That's Dragon Ball Z syndrome, which I talk about on this show all the time. It's like the big bad is big and bad until it's not convenient anymore. And then you have to find a bigger bad because you decided to make the big bad smaller. And that just annoys the shit out of me. So that's a pet peeve. But anyway, What do you guys think? What
Sure.
were some of the Colin? Maybe we'll go to you next because I know you're a big fan of the show. What were some of the storylines that work best for you, and why? What do you look for specifically in storylines when there's a whole big expansive story, lots of factions, lots of characters?
I think like an example of well, it's not a similar show at all, but an example of a show that does characters well would be like Severance, which we talked about a little while back.
Philip Fracassi,
and The Last of Us, and a couple others. You can have like a pretty short scene that does a lot of work, and I felt like Fallout had that in many ways, where there are various scenes that are like really memorable and really bring out the characters. Like Maximus, I think the first couple episodes, I feel like Maximus is the star. He's like who we're rooting for, because he was a knight through and through, and then his organization is corrupt, and he has to now deal with that fact. And it doesn't play out the way you think it would, I don't think. The fact that what really drives him from pushing away and leaving and rebelling is the fact that they look at these ghoul kids as abominations, and it is their duty to kill them, which is full on like, you could imagine a paladin kind of character, like that's their oath and that's what they do. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's what he faces. And he's like, no. And over the course of the season, like we see all these flashbacks to Shady Sands, and it's no accident that Shady Sands is mostly made up of ethnic minority people. And they have a good thing going, and then they're destroyed, and they're destroyed just for the sake of like they're doing things independently, and the local person who doesn't like that just takes them out because they can. And so like I think has that character arc of like he's part of the Knights of Steel, and like that's his group, and then he sees that they directly do not follow his code, and his code isn't the Knights of Steel. His code is his Shady Sands, essentially. And he's going to make his choices and go forward the way he wants to do them, and has his own ridiculous sort of motley crew that he puts together. And strangely enough, right, the ghoul Cooper is the one who agrees that Lucy is the best person to give this cold fusion technology to. But the question is like, does that storyline really resolve properly, in the sense that like, the ghoul takes the cold fusion and puts it in and restarts Robert House and then helps out Lucy. So like, really, that doesn't have the conclusion that you would kind of expect from what we've been leading up to.
Yeah. I think it's definitely debatable that the best use of that fusion core was to restart fucking Robert House, but here we are. He's back, and he's the House again, and he's going to go back to rigging the game because that's what he do. Jeremy, you're 3 episodes deep. Which storyline, if any, did work on you, get you through those 3 episodes, if there was one? And, maybe you can speak more too. Was there a storyline in particular that pushed you out of the story, and why?
See, I think that all the different storylines had the potential to work, but each one of them feels like everything in the world feels totally isolated from everything else. Like if we talk about the Knights and the Brotherhood and whatever, they feel like a dominating, like global presence while they're on screen. And then you go to like Lucy and the ghoul traveling wherever, at which point they might as well exist on a whole other planet.
Yeah.
Like it's
a good point.
And it's kind of the same with like Kaisar's Legion or any other town or whatever that they're wandering through. It's nothing feels like it the story going forward, at least for me.
Mm.
And then there are, of course, the flashbacks to Cooper, which, at least to me, felt like they don't matter after season 1, where they did the whole twist of like all those business people sitting in a room being like, what if we destroyed the world? Like, why?
Mic
Like,
drop.
because that's
Mic drop.
but like, what if we did?
Because someone's gonna. So why
Someone's
not us?
gonna. Maybe we should. Like, that's
Let's just get out ahead of it.
yeah. Just cut it off. That way we can control the PR around it. It'll be
Yeah.
It's honestly the best move.
Exactly. It's that classic corporate power move of call the press conference about the controversial issue yourself so that you control the narrative.
I mean, I guess the ethos, just to like cover it, is Vault Tech needs to make money. They can make money by building vaults and convincing people that they need to pay huge amounts of money to live in these vaults, and those people do, and they'll sell more vaults if they blow up stuff. If they nuke places, then people see that there's a
selling
threat.
vaults if they blow everything up. That's the point at which nobody's going to buy any more vaults because they're dead.
But those people are poor. They don't care about poor people.
They were
Vault
never
Tech
going to
wants
buy
rich
vaults
people
anyway.
to buy their stuff.
That's true.
Who did you think we're going to nuke? I mean, what are we even talking about here?
Yeah, why nuke rich people? You can get their money.
Yeah, exactly. And frankly, that business model is not exaggerated, as we could see in the modern world. Like, this is literally happening with AI right before our eyes. Very well could be the end of the world. We don't know how it's going to play out, but, it's looking pretty sketchy at the moment. And that is essentially like, I mean, you literally have a CEO of an AI company on a huge TV show on the record just being like, yeah, it'll probably end the world, but we're going to have some great companies.
There's also, literally yesterday, I watched a documentary on how Las Vegas had the Formula One race, and it completely shut down the city for weeks as they built it.
It does
which
that.
didn't affect any of the rich people that could afford to buy tickets to go there.
Yeah.
But all of the working class people who have to get to work at the Strip and leave every day were completely disrupted, and were all late and for their jobs and everything else. And the people who own Vegas don't care because they just want the Formula One and make money off of the casino and hotel tickets.
Oh yeah, and Formula One is a great microcosm of this entire problem. To put it,
everyone hates it. Everyone hates it in the real Las Vegas.
Yeah, of course. And that's
I
because
have to not say New Vegas.
No, you did not say New Vegas because it's not New Vegas yet. We got to blow up Old Vegas first. That's on the way. That's on the way. Shout out to OpenAI and Palantir. We're waiting for you to pull the trigger. None of us will be able to afford a vault, so
nope.
Yeah.
I'm going to join the New California Republic or Kaiser's Legion, whichever one is closer to me. I do think that, to your point, Jeremy, it's a good point. I do also think it's realistic, though. And as a sucker for realism, as I always am, I do like that aspect of Fallout, and that is loyal to the game. That's loyal to the subject material. Because once the world explodes, it does dissolve from this interconnected internet age world that we have now, even in the 50s, being more connected with TV and radio and news. And we were starting to have global conflicts. We had the Cold War. The world was connecting. It was coming together more during the Cold War. It was being imperialized to a much more efficient degree. Efficient meaning the operative term, not saying it was a good thing. I'm saying we were doing it efficiently, unfortunately, colonizing very quickly and very widespread. And that's kind of that's the world that people were beginning to be accustomed to, and the world that came apart at the seams. And especially, I think, living in the world today, it's even harder to imagine a feudal society, a tribal society. But that is kind of what it breaks back down to when you get into the post-apocalyptic wasteland. So I actually like that aspect of the show because, like you say, whoever's on screen, they think they're powerful. They think they own this shit, but they really just own their one little kingdom, their one little hill, Kaisar's Legion is a perfect example of sad little king of a sad little hill thinking they own the entire world, right? And the Brotherhood of Steel is bigger and more powerful, but it's really not that much different than Kaisar's Legion at the end of the day. And you can see that when their leadership is pretty like easily dissolved by just a little power dispute. They can't even hold together their own big council. So, and I think that's indicative of human nature and pretty true. But at the same time, Jeremy, I think the problem with it is that all of them feel too similar to me. All of them feel too similar. Like the way Kaisar's Legion is fighting within themselves, and they ultimately come together through deception, and then just like band back together. I felt like the Brotherhood of Steel was doing a very similar thing, very similar conflict. They had a slightly different power structure, but the ultimate like resolution of that arc didn't feel much different to me. And like you said, Colin, when they show up to the little ghoul child labor factory that Thaddeus has taken it upon himself to run. Fucking Thaddeus, dude. That guy's such a piece of shit. But when they show back up and find Thaddeus, the storyline was pretty cool up until that point. I liked how he was starting to get sucked into the camaraderie and starting to like finally feel like a knight. And then he has that moral dilemma and he has to betray it. But then it just felt like the Brotherhood of Steel like fell off a cliff. Like they stopped mattering. He killed like a major player in their organization and outright mutinied and went AWOL. And if you do that in a military organization, they come looking for you. Like they come to kill you. And they didn't feel like a threat at the end. Like the last 3 episodes or so, we were just talking about Deathclaws now, and we're in Vegas, and like he didn't seem like he was under any threat from the Brotherhood. You get a small glimpse back into them at the very end of the episode, but they felt like they were forgotten about for a good portion of the show. I don't know what you guys think.
And I mean, like, betraying the order and just going AWOL and doing his own shit, that's exactly the same thing as he did in the first season.
Right.
And that's, yeah, he can just be in that loop forever, I guess. That's fine.
Yeah, and it feels like a lot of these character arc loops have kind of replayed themselves out throughout the course of both seasons. Like you were saying in your debate, Chris, and I don't know how fully you really believe it, but I did feel that way about both Coop and Lucy. Like, they don't change that much, and their dilemma remains largely the same. They are occasionally pulled in a different direction, but they all come back to sort of the character they were at the beginning. And I feel like we're led to believe that that is the right choice, and I don't really love that as a storyteller myself. What do you think?
I think you can definitely do that. Like you can do that with like a Conan the Barbarian or like the Man with No Name, like someone coming into town and not necessarily having a arc per se, but the people around them having arcs. I think you can do that, and you kind of do that with Lucy because she's getting tested. Like that's what we want to see. We want to see her getting tested and stretched, but ultimately come back to that same spot. And I think ultimately, probably Cooper is the one that, you know, like Colin said, he's becoming this third person where he's meshing Cooper and the ghoul, and he's going to become affected by Lucy. He's going to be affected by Maximus, maybe. Like Maximus is going to show him how to be brave, and Lucy's going to show him how to be do the right thing. I think that's probably where we're going to see the change. But ultimately, overall, you know, it's like the game says, war never changes. So should people really change? I don't know.
That's a good question. And it is probably one of the questions we're asking. And I do think it is a fundamental belief that underlies the show. I think it's easy to see that as you see the way they show all these different organizations kind of going through the same motions. That's very much the war never changes. At least it is to me. Like again, seeing Kaisar's Legion and the Brotherhood of Steel, who have very different codes, if you can even give Kaisar's Legion a code. And then it feels like the super mutants probably going to be a pretty similar situation. They're fighting to protect their kind, their people, and they're going to probably do whatever it takes to preserve their own lives. And that is what people often tend to do. So yeah, another thing in this show that I think is sometimes really well done, sometimes maybe throws off the intentionality of the show or the pacing, or the like punch that reveals and stuff are supposed to have, is the comedy. So we'll start with you, Chris. What do you think of the comedy in this show? Do you think it is well done? And what aspects of it, if so, work for you? If not, like, where does the comedy sort of undermine maybe other elements of the narrative, if you think that happens?
I mean, that is I have a contentious relationship with comedy. I love comedy, but when you have it like say in horror fiction, which I write, it undermines the stakes so often. And I feel like it does do that in Fallout a little bit. Like Kaiser's Legion, the seriousness, the threat of the Legion is a little bit undermined by how inept they are. Like, I think there is room for that, but if you're going to have them be so inept, then you have to go a little bit further to show how that affects the stakes. You got to show how that affects the world around them. And I don't think they did that. I think part of that is because they didn't have the episode length. They only had 8 episodes. So these aren't even hour-long episodes as far as I know. They're like 40 minutes, right? And so I feel like the pacing was good for the comedy, but it didn't allow the comedy to get legs enough to make things feel serious enough and to make things feel grounded. At the same time, though, you did have these emotional moments like Maximus with his parents before his town was blown up. Like that moment really got to me. So I think Fallout ultimately could have navigated that line a little bit better, but ultimately I think they did a good job.
Yeah. I agree in places and I don't in places. Again, I brought up Kaiser's Legion, and sounds like you agree, because they're supposed to be a threat. They're supposed to be a warrior society. Yeah. So I want them to be threatening, at least in some way. Like, the only way they feel threatening is like the way like some drunk guy at the bar feels threatening, where it's like, this guy might punch me for no reason. I'm really
he
not
might do
sure.
something stupid.
Right. He might do something
Yeah,
stupid.
it's the same as Thaddeus. Like, he's not
Yes.
supposed to be a threat, so he can be that comic relief.
Right. And I think it works well with Thaddeus. I think it works well in the vault. Like, you have very sinister things happening in the vault, but they're happening at a higher societal level. And it doesn't matter that the people running the show are utterly inept and idiotic, because that's what actually makes it even more scary. It's like, these people should not be fucking in charge, but they are. And it's going to end very badly. And like, that works in the vault because we're not supposed to be threatened by the characters necessarily. We're supposed to be threatened by the societal elements that are ruling over them. And they're literally trapped underground in a vault, so they can't go anywhere, And so I think that works. But Colin, Jeremy, one of you guys have a thought on comedy in this show, or comedy in general, how it affects narratives and how to do it well or wrong?
Well, I feel like in the show, the comedy lands pretty well sometimes. And for me, it's something that does help the world feel real. Like, if we take Kaiser's Legion, which, they're real dumb and they are inept, but they also have machine guns. So like, you have to treat them seriously. It's infuriating how seriously you have to treat Kaiser's Legion. And to me, that just makes it better. It's like a dog running around with a grenade. It's
yeah.
It's like, oh my god, this is so serious, and I will be so mad if this is what kills me. Type of thing. Which I think is perfect for a wasteland setting. I mean, I'd watch a whole show about Kaiser's Legion, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's just me.
Or a whole show about Thaddeus. I think they'd be pretty similar. Who was turned to a ghoul by the chicken fucker. Colin?
Most kids are dead at this age.
I know, right? Yeah, but that was actually like that little glimpse into Thaddeus's like sweatshop was just a
For
terrible
God's
moment
sake.
and hilarious at the same time. Just
You know,
really
I didn't
good
even-
dark comedy.
I did until you said that Thaddeus was an asshole. I didn't even consider that angle. I was like, oh, he's taking care of these kids. Like he's he's giving them a job.
Dude,
And
he
you're
says
like-
in the sweatshop, like, now come on, guys, we're only 12 hours into this day, and we've got another 10 to go.
Yeah, I was like, he really cares about his staff.
Yeah.
Doesn't he ever?
It seemed he stands in front of them when there's a gun pointed at them.
He does do that, but does he do it for himself or because he wants to keep the caps flowing? I have my doubts. Colin, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, I mean the comedy gets me coming back because I think Fallout, one of the what Fallout has always done in all the video games is that they have this ridiculous 50s upbeat music and 40s and 30s and 20s even. And it's a skeleton in a bombed out car that's listening to this upbeat soundtrack as you just figure they thought they were going to survive, and there's this upbeat music, and then all of a sudden you're being attacked by zombies and the music is still playing. So like satire is a huge function of it and of the video games, and I think they did that well in the show, where we have plenty of examples of it. And the two that jump out that we haven't talked about are when Lucy goes into the shop, like the ghoul Coop, Walter Goggins just tells her, like, go in the shop and ask for this guy and get this thing that we need. And so she goes in there, and then she's all cracked out on her high, which is a funny sequence of events, that she doesn't want to do drugs, and then she has to do drugs so that she can get better. And then she doesn't know that she is, basically affected from the drugs, ruining her body. And now she needs the cure for it because she's trying to go cold turkey and it doesn't work at all. And so she goes into the shop and then like slowly pieces it together. She was going to steal some stuff maybe, but then she finds a guy that's hacked to pieces in the corner. And then the other guy who's the shop owner, she originally thought his clothes are way too small. And she just like puts it together that she walked into this store with what Coop told her to do. And like, it is not what she expected. And clearly this guy just murdered the actual store owner and is doing a horrible job trying to pretend like he's the store owner. And then she just shoots him, which debatably is because of the drugs, but also maybe a choice that she makes. Unclear. But that scene was hilarious, and I felt like it did a lot for her character all at the same time. That was entertaining to watch, and it brings up the whole idea of like frontier justice, and when do you make these decisions and why? Like are Lucy's actions permissible because of the drug she was on or not?
Yeah,
I don't know. It
That is
doesn't
a
hold up
question.
in a court of law, usually.
That's true. But in Fallout, the courts of law are just not reliable at all, and they're all over the place in terms of how much we should be
Yeah.
respecting their own judgment.
I'm pretty sure you can usually also just shoot them, so
True.
probably fine.
That's what people do. That's what people kind of do. Maximus starts that all off with the Brotherhood, and we go from there. Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly on the score, Colin. The score is awesome in this show at really accentuating that like underpinned ironic satire that runs throughout the whole course of it, and it's so crucial to the message of the show. Again, that war never changes, and the entire era, like the entire Cold War era, like how upbeat it was if you happen to be in the part of society that was benefiting from it, and how sinister it really was if you were part of any other aspect of society. And I love hearing that music in the bombed out car in the wasteland while people are struggling to survive, because it's so fitting. It's like, yes, this music for a small amount of people is a really nostalgic, like good feeling time in history. And for everybody else, that's what that good feeling was built upon, was suffering and death and explosions and nuclear waste and all kinds of shit like that. But that's a big topic. I think Fallout plays with it in a way that makes it very accessible. Fallout could go the Game of Thrones route and get all grim dark with it, but it refuses to do that. And I do respect it in a way for that, even though I like grim dark, but I respect that it sticks to its guns and continues to put comedy at the forefront. Though I also think that that cuts the tension. We've already talked about that quite a bit. Something else that I think can cut tension is, as we sort of touched on earlier with the death claws, I want to talk about them specifically because it also relates to other aspects of the show. But how important is it to maintain the integrity of your existential threats, of your big bads in a story? And how much does it damage the narrative when you choose to put like action over that or character conquest over that? Because I do feel like that's what happens in this final Deathclaw fight scene. It's more important to the story, it feels, that Maximus be seen as like a powerful fighter, a good paladin character who's leveled up to level 20 in his D&D campaign. And he can now kill these things with just rockets. But like, to me, that does so much damage to the stakes of the world as a whole, especially if you're coming in as a fan of the video games. As we've already talked about, we really want the death claws to be what they were in the game, which is like super fucking terrifying. And Kaiser's Legion, another good example, but these threats are somewhat underpinned by other aspects of the show that maybe cuts the stakes. What do you guys think? How important is it for your big bad to remain a big bad for as long as possible? And if that fails to happen, what does it do to the narrative?
I don't think
Chris?
you can really have a Deathclaw as your big bad, just
True.
like by nature of the threat. Like the threat is an individual threat. Like the Deathclaw is going to get to you. Now, when the gates are kind of busted down and the Deathclaws are escaping their containment area, that changes things. But I don't think Deathclaws are really. I love Deathclaws, but I don't think they have a place in the show so much. I think they were used the right amount to kind of strike fear in the heart of this really tough and unflappable guy. And I think that was the moment for them. And then after that, it's just really, Maximus getting to show his real moral compass. Like he is willing to go down swinging for others. He is going to, like, he knows that this is kind of like a suicide mission. Like these Deathclaws are going to take him down. If it's not for that, the NCR coming in with like the antimatter sniper gun, he would be dead. And I think for what they were good. Now you can have a Jurassic Park Deathclaw episode where the Deathclaws are stalking someone through this hotel or a casino or something. Like that would be cool. But I think ultimately this isn't that show. So the real threats are going to be like societal or hierarchical or corporate. Like these are where the real threats are coming from, like the Mr. House or Hank McLean brainwashing people. Like these are the real threats.
Yeah,
Everything
that's a
else is
really
just-
good point.
Everything else is just set dressing, kind of, which you need, but it's not the real threats.
That's a really good point. And I don't mean to imply that the Deathclaws are the big bad. I think I'm more trying to speak to the stakes that they represent and how that can be kind of undermined when you make them easy to kill once it becomes convenient, if that makes any sense.
I think a big issue is that we're not seeing how rare these suits of power armor are. I think in the first season you did, like you saw like the squire carrying around the giant bag and like the guy in the power armor was like a beast. He was a boss. Whoever was operating that thing got shit done. So in the second season, I feel like they're a little more common, so we don't respect the power that they have. And the one that Maximus gets, I kind of missed the significance of it. It was like an NCR power armor one.
Mhm.
So I think that was implied to be better than the Brotherhood of Steel power armor. So maybe that's why he was able to, body all these death claws. Like he had more advanced weaponry and all this stuff. But maybe because it was so short, because we didn't have time to sit with these things, they didn't really land as much, I think.
I agree. And I actually think that's the sort of fundamentally the same problem. Like it's supposed to be this rare, mega powerful thing, but it feels like every time Maximus needs a new set of power armor, he finds a way to get it. Whether it be from Coop, who just knows where one is and shows him where it is and unveils it and says, "Here you go."
Coop never needed it till then.
No.
And still didn't use it.
Coop don't need it. Coop don't need
Nah,
it.
Coop knows where to shoot the guys in the power armor, so he doesn't need it.
And that's the exact same thing, right, Jeremy? Like when Coop fights a power armor, he can just take him out.
Yeah, you just one-shot KO those guys.
Which is like...
It's great.
Well, the thing about Coop is like he's been burned by the power armor. Like he had the shitty one, so of course he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna use this old thing. It's gonna get me killed. And we're like, Coop, you got to get with the times, man. These things they're better now.
And
but
like
are
to
they?
agree,
The same trick works on them.
Apparently, they're not.
To agree with Clay too. Like, I mean, it's fine to have Maximus fight the Death Claws and to kill some of them, even maybe easily with rockets and stuff. But I mean, to quote V for Vendetta, like what you have are bullets and the hope that I'm still standing when you have to unload because you will die otherwise, right? So I mean, if he runs out of bullets, then there's more Death Claws and he's screwed. So there's a way, I feel like there's a way to have written that scene where the Death Claws are more of a threat, especially once he runs out of ammo, which he's going to do, and he does. But there's just, various scenes where he pretty easily dispatches them with, whatever is around him, a tail from one that had died.
Car door.
Well, and when he fights the first one, that's like, that worked for me. Like the first fight was hard, and it was really hard for him to take like one down. And that's when I talk about Dragon Ball Z syndrome, right? Because he fought one and it was really hard, and then like 6 come out, and that's supposed to raise the stakes, but it doesn't. It lowers them because we now know he's not going to die because this is Fallout and nobody dies who we actually care about. So we know he's now going to kill 7 of them, and now Death Claws aren't nearly as scary to me. Now I'm like, okay, you can kill Death Claws with a rocket or a sniper rifle or a car door. Also, why didn't they just throw a car through that containment center gate if it was that easy to break out? You just had to throw something through it. Like,
maybe you just throw something. I don't know.
Yeah, they never thought about
it. Sounds a lot like the return of Cooler for any of the Dragon Ball Z people out there. And I think Fallout does have a real problem of showing things that should be threatening and making them not be threatening. Like a room full of heavily armed dudes, the ghoul can just walk in and shoot all of them and he'll be fine. Lucy will be fine. Maximus, if he's involved, he will also be totally fine. And it's, I don't know, the physical stakes of the situation just aren't there.
Yeah, and that makes, like with Cooper, it makes sense. Like you were saying, Chris, that is directly linked to his narrative. That is established canonically in the story. He wore the armor. He knows it inside and out. He has literally seen its weaknesses because he almost died because of it. So that makes sense, right? What doesn't make sense is like, why is Maximus good in the power armor all of a sudden? He's never used it. He got into it for the first time in season 1, and he kind of just figures it out. And then he's good at it by season 2. He's like good enough to kill 7 Death Claws in it, even though he's still Well, I guess by then he's gotten some training because he spent some time in the actual Brotherhood. So that makes a little more sense. But still, he kind of like just figured it out. It feels like there's a lot of like narrative convenience in this show, at least for me. But do you have any pushback on that, Chris? You look like you had something to say there.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think it's just it's because the season was shorter.
Yeah. And that's true.
You can't let things breathe.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe that's where you cut out one thing or another, right? You could have easily cut out Kaiser's Legion like wholesale.
Then you
like
miss Macaulay Culkin in a
we
leather
would
skirt.
do that.
Put him in Vegas. Just put him in Vegas and have him doing some shady shit in Vegas. He could have been there. Like, I don't know. I think he could have cut out Kaiser's Legion.
They're wearing a leather skirt in Vegas. That's fine. I guess.
Absolutely.
Cut out Lucy's brother. Like, cut out that whole.
That's true.
The only purpose for Lucy's brother is that we saw the super mutant protocol. Like, we could have done that in season 3. Like, how impactful would it be to leave Lucy's brother at the end of season 1 trapped in this vault alone with this brain thing, and then skip a season with him? So then we come back in season 3. It's like, oh shit, this guy's been in there this whole time. That would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
That would be cool. And that would justify all the time I spend like being surprised whenever he comes back. I'm like, oh, right, he's doing a thing. Okay.
Well, this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that too, because compared to the other Vault storyline with the one-eyed lady, who's what was her name again? Is it
Stephanie? The Canadian.
Stephanie Harper.
Yeah.
Stephanie, our
damn Canadian,
our resident Canadian in Fallout.
She does murder a bunch of people. I mean,
good for her.
Yeah.
Wow.
They had it coming.
Wow. It's okay if she's Canadian, apparently.
She had her reasons.
Yeah, she had her reasons for sure. And she did. I mean, she did have reasons to be very vindictive and vengeful. But that said, her storyline seemed a lot more impactful to, as you're saying, the big bad of the narrative, which is this corporate entity, this shadow government, the things behind the scenes that are causing these terrible things to happen on a global scale for smaller, personal, greedy reasons mostly. And she's a perfect like microcosm of that as a character. Like, she is the representative of that in her vault. She's holding on to power at all costs. And when that is, she kills anybody who gets in her way or sends them into exile or both. And then when her power is challenged at the end, she goes and she pulls the kill switch instead of like facing justice, which is what all the villains in Fallout do. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to dig into there. There's a lot of show. If you do like the game, if you like season 1, go watch season 2. I think if you like season 1, you'll like season 2. If you didn't, you won't. I think that's probably a pretty good estimate, pretty good barometer there. And we're going to now get into our final segment, which is ranking this thing. We're going to tell you how much we liked it, and we're going to do it in our own special way. Our fermented fiction rating system might be seen as useless. It might be seen as arbitrary. It might be the Kaiser's Legion of ranking systems. But we, like Kaiser's Legion, don't give a shit. We're going to keep on doing it. The way we rank movies is how many drinks or substances of your choice do you need to enjoy the selected work to the fullest. So we'll start with you, Jeremy. How many drinks or whatever else do you need to enjoy Fallout Season 2 to the fullest extent?
All right, so you'll want to get a ready supply.
Here we go.
Of whatever you've got going on. Colin, be cool, all right?
Here we go.
Get a ready supply.
I'm bracing myself.
I don't know what you need. Yes, brace yourself. Get your ready supply of uppers, downers, or sideways, whatever you like. Do you. Be yourself. And you'll want, 3 per episode to begin with. Because, you've got the 3 varying storylines that you're supposed to care about. And then you'll also want to be ready with a shot of something whenever Norm and the Vault come back to just do a shot when you're like, oh my God, I forgot they were in. Okay, there you go. So I don't know what that number comes out to, because that really does increase things over the course of the series. So
For sure.
good luck. Godspeed.
Yes, like the Fallout games, this is a totally open world RPG version of the rating system. You can go up, down, or sideways and go that way real hard, no matter which way. Because once you leave the vault, you're out there in the wasteland. Colin,
Yep.
how would you rank this thing?
I think you should do, just watch an episode a night with your favorite drink. Could be a cocktail or a beer or a glass of wine. I think the episodes are like less than an hour each. So I guess if you binged watched all 8, you might get pretty schlossed after, 7 episodes and 7 hours and 7 drinks. So maybe that's a bit much. So you got to space that out. But you should definitely have something as part of the show. It's a good time, and you want to have a good time when you're watching it. But I wouldn't go full on Cooper Howard status. He downs those whiskeys, man, and you're not gonna have a good time.
Yeah, don't watch it on a mechanical bull.
No.
Also,
I'll try not to.
It's hard to avoid that sometimes, but do your best. Yeah, I'm kind of in between Colin and Jeremy. I'm going to say your baseline should be like 1 per episode. And I do think just to honor the Nuka-Cola, you should drink something with a cola if you happen to like cola. If you like something with a soda, do that. Something that requires you to twist off a bottle cap and then keep those bottle caps with you just because you're going to need them. We're saving up, we're investing in the future at the same time as we're watching this show. And I think that's a good thing. So, but I also am going to go a little bit with Jeremy that you should have whatever liquor you prefer to take straight shots ready and on deck for any time a storyline or point of conflict or character arc just sort of falls off a cliff and you're like, oh, I guess we don't care about that anymore. Because for me, that can be troubling. So I'm going to want a little consolation shot every time that happens. And that's probably, again, depending on the episode, once or twice an episode. Some episodes that will happen like 4 times at once. Like 4 storylines are just gone. And you're just like, I guess we're doing this now instead. So how about you, Chris?
I would say at the beginning of each episode, just take a little microdose of Buff Out to give yourself a little pep. Just give you something a little, make the colors a little brighter. Not enough to get fully Lucy addicted, but just a little microdose.
Microdose on Buff Out.
Yeah, because this show is going to be trippy enough as it is.
Don't take Psycho. Psycho does not pair with this show.
No. Yeah. You don't want to start cleaning your house.
You need a gentle push or a real hard one.
One or the other. Yeah.
So you were saying, Chris, a little microdose of Buff Out, is that it, or are you doing anything else?
That's it, man. Okay. That's all you need.
All right.
Because this show is a trip on its own.
This is true. Speaking of trips, will you take the Fermented universe one more time down a little trip into the Chris O'Halloran universe? Where can they find you? What are you working on right now? What can we look forward to? Can we read some stories anywhere? You got any new short stories out there in the universe? What's going on, and where can we find it? Oh, we lost you. We lost your audio. Chris, wait. We lost your audio, buddy.
We cannot hear you. We wish we could.
We're
devastated. I'm devastated right now.
I'm very devastated.
Yeah.
Chris's audio is pushing daisies right now. There it is.
Just look at that book. It's a hell of a book.
Chris, this book. My book, this.
Just buy it.
I write.
Just buy it.
Chris wrote Pushing Daisy. You should go out there and check it out. You should read it. It's awesome. He's awesome.
God, it's so good.
And on his website, which I will put in the show notes, you can also find a bunch of his short stories for free. He has them there. And he's published a lot of stuff around the fiction universe. Chris, this is not as good of a plug as you would have done for yourself, I'm sure, but I hope it's adequate. I will be pointing people in your direction. Seriously, go read Chris. He's awesome. Chris, thank you so much for coming on the show. Sorry we lost you here at the end. And thank you, everybody, for tuning into Fermented Fiction. If Chris comes back in time, we'll let him say a final word. Otherwise, I think we're going to let you go. We're going to let you go. Enjoy your Saturday. Thanks for riding with us here early in the morning. Thanks, Chris. I think you're gone. We'll see you next time, brother. Fallout Season 3. We'll have Chris back on for the trilogy. Let's do it.
Will Jeremy get through it? We'll find out.
I'm a professional, Colin. I'm going to watch the rest of this terrible season to watch 3 episodes of the next one.
Yeah, and just like the Rams. Good luck with that.
I think that what Chris is trying to indicate there is congratulations on the Seahawks winning their last Super Bowl, and we'll see you all next time.
Oh, their last
Goodbye.
Super Bowl, huh? Yeah.